This is How to Find True Happiness by Mark Manson. Are you unsure why you're unsatisfied with life? Feel like you're trapped in the 9 to 5, overweight, or maybe still working at McDonald's? Well, according to Mark Manson, you might be unhappy because you're not solving the right problems. The idea that you can get happiness by solving a problem may seem weird or sad when you first look at it, but believe it or not, we do it more often than we think. Problems are everywhere, and during our day-to-day experiences, it's all that we do. We solve problems. Thirsty, we drink. Bored, we watch some YouTube. But some days we face slightly more complicated problems like, how do I stop living paycheck to paycheck? Or, how can I overcome my insecurity with how I look? So our lives are basically a bunch of all these problems, simple and complicated. And Mark Manson says that solving these problems is when true happiness is achieved. To make this concept work, we need to assume that problems don't stop. They get transformed into something else, whether it's a better problem or worse. Let's do an example. Your girlfriend has been complaining that you don't spend enough time with her on Saturdays. So you try to make a few changes to accommodate what she wants. You would set a 3-hour window to see her from 6 to 9 p.m. And although on the surface it seems like this problem is solved, it can lead to a couple of other problems such as, I usually work out from 4 to 5 p.m. on Saturdays, so I can't do this anymore. Or, where will I get the extra money to do this? And so on and so forth. Now, one thing people make a huge mistake on is that you need to make a distinction that problems must be solved and not avoided. I repeat, not avoided. Avoidance will most likely just make your life more miserable. So the idea that solving problems equals happiness is really grounded in the word solving. This word is an action word. It's a verb. It requires you and I to do something. It's not inherited from your mom or dad or something that you'd get in your email. It needs some form of action on your behalf. I think it's really important to note that Mark Manson emphasizes that you have the control over your happiness. By choosing to find and act on solutions that would fit best, the responsibility for realizing happiness is on each person. So you think that given this formula, people would cruise on their way to happiness and la la land? But of course, as humans, we find plenty of ways to mess this up. The first reason we mess it up is denial. This is when we choose to believe that the problem does not exist. The second reason we mess up problem solving is we victimize ourselves. And this means we take on this thinking that we are helpless and have no impact on the problems we face. Victims always blame other things out of their control. These are reasons like, if I only had a car, maybe I would have a girlfriend by now. Or if I only had a gym near my house, I wouldn't be this fat. But with all this jibber jabber out of the way, we've come to the most important thing. How does this concept of solving problems apply to you? First of all, you need to ask yourself, what will make you happy in life? A lot of people would say good health, solid family, and a more fruitful way to earn money. Blah, 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 blah. We tend to answer this question with a lot of BS. That's because majority of people want the same thing. Comfortable living, low stress, freedom, yachts full of money, hot babes. Who wouldn't want these? Now, instead of asking yourself, what will make you happy? Maybe the better questions are, what are we willing to struggle for? Or what problems do we want to solve? This is a better approach because Mark Manson argues that happiness requires struggle. You can literally get happiness from facing and solving the problems that come up. Some of the examples that he had given in his book that probably apply to a lot of us are those people who want to physically look good. Let's face it, I don't mean all of us, but a good majority of us want that six-pack and chiseled jawline. I mean, who wouldn't, right? It'll get you compliments, make girls like you more. But obviously just seeing how much unfit and obese people there are around, not too many are willing to face the problems that come with having that physique. And what are those problems? Are you willing to put in hours of work in the gym? Preparing your own meals? Doing your own groceries? Or even skipping out on pizza lunch with your grandma? Another good example he gave was that of someone who wants to be an entrepreneur. These days, entrepreneurs are glorified. You got Gary Vaynerchuk, Grant Cardone, Tony Robbins, Steve Jobs. A lot of success and power in those names. Money, freedom, and influence are a few reasons people would strive to be like these people. But not everyone is willing to take on risks involved with entrepreneurship. The 60-week hours to get a business running, the lack of family time, overcoming the skepticism of others, or even the repeated failures that these entrepreneurs face. So with those examples being laid out, I think the more important question for you to ask is, what struggles are you willing to endure? Because at the end, these struggles will show in problems through your lifetime. Happy and successful people are going to be the ones who find problems that they want to keep solving. So again, which problems will you focus on? If you want to be a doctor, are you willing to endure the year's worth of education that you need to finish? Are you willing to compensate on the social aspect of your life to be successful in school and not go to that party that everyone's going to? And if you want to be financially free, are you willing to put in the work to learn about how money works? Are you willing to take on the risks associated of making investments? And are you willing to work for the money that will be required to invest with? And that about sums up this concept, guys. This topic is found in Mark Manson's book, The Subtle Art of Not Giving an F. And I'd recommend that you get your hands on this somehow. And if you've learned something new, give me a like or subscribe. Thank you for listening.